Imagine a head of state delivering a grand international address in a resort city, only to have the very skies above him turn hostile. That's what reportedly happened in Sochi on October 2nd, as Ukrainian drones, or at least unmanned aerial vehicles, disrupted Vladimir Putin's carefully staged event. The timing, the location, and the aftermath all raise more questions than answers. Let's unpack what we can confirm and what remains uncertain. On the evening of October 2nd, Vladimir Putin spoke at the Valdai Forum in Sochi, a gathering of foreign policy experts and pro-Russia journalists, and concluded his address around 10 p.m. local time. Roughly half an hour later, local authorities declared a drone threat in Sochi and neighboring Gelendzhik, prompting the closure of both airports. Sochi Mayor Andrei Prushunin announced the threat publicly as sirens sounded, and local residents reported anti-aircraft fire over the Black Sea. Dozens of flights were disrupted by the airspace restrictions, which lasted approximately 7 hours. 11 drones over the Black Sea and 4 more targets close to Crimea were allegedly detected by Moscow's defense establishment. Airport activities remained delayed, but according to local sources, the warning was withdrawn in 30 to 40 minutes. That much is obvious. Who launched the drones and from where is less obvious and more debatable. Some Russian social media commenters and analysts are pointing to Kazakhstan, claiming that even highly developed Ukrainian drones cannot cover the distance between Ukraine and Sochi or deeper Russian territory. However, that assertion has not been verified. The invasion cannot be definitively linked to Kazakh territory based on any publicly accessible information, including satellite photos, intercepted communications, or airplane track data. What is evident is that the appearance of drones near Sochi has provoked alarm among Russian elites and a surge in speculation about vulnerabilities deep within Russia's defenses. Events elsewhere that same night add further weight to questions over how far Ukraine's unmanned capabilities now reach. Ukrainian drones reportedly struck the Orsk oil refinery, located nearly 1,400 kilometers from Ukraine's border, well within Russian interior territory. Russian authorities acknowledged an attack on Orsk, but downplayed operational impacts. Independent footage, however, suggests damage to infrastructure. Orsk lies roughly 5 kilometers from the Kazakhstan border, fueling further speculation about foreign launch points. Once again, no independent confirmation has emerged to verify these claims about the origin of the drones. In response to this growing visibility of drone strikes and media dissemination, the Kremlin has passed legislation making it illegal to record, distribute, or republish images and videos of Ukrainian attacks on Russian territory. Offenders face fines or criminal penalties. Videos taken by local witnesses at the Sochi event show officials or defenders being told not to film, which is probably a sign of the new limitations.
Before this moment, we used, on long-distance targets, we used only our weapon, as you know. And after my meeting with President of the United States, yes, we will maybe have something more. I don't know. We'll see.
Are you a paper tiger?
Россия никак не тигр, все-таки больше Россия.
Russia is not a tiger. It is, after all, more commonly associated with a bear. Paper bears don't exist. Russia is a real bear. Putin has described our bear multiple times with various emotions. There is nothing paper-like about it here.
Медведя, здесь ничего бумажного нет.
And, by the way, he repeated for the second time who the paper tiger is. He said he wouldn't talk about anyone else, but he repeated it. I don't know who he is calling a paper tiger. The president of that very country who fled Afghanistan after 10 years, unable to manage it in a week, all his yelling about Russia doing something wrong, about being upset with Putin, about Russia failing at something. It's all absolute bullshit from the first word to the last word. Mr. Trump, if you made commitments in Alaska, then fulfill them. If you cannot fulfill them, then keep quiet. And if you cannot keep quiet, then please, don't speak about peace and agreements anymore.
The Kremlin's sensitivity to public understanding of vulnerabilities is highlighted by that censorship push, particularly when attacks reach significant zones like Sochi. There is a larger dilemma at the heart of the drone mishaps and speculative stories. Russia is increasingly indicating that it cannot afford the price of its conflict in Ukraine. Moscow has severely restricted reporting of casualties and hidden death tolls for years. According to analysts, Russia may lose more than 900,000 people, dead, injured, or missing by the middle of 2025. Some estimates even put it at over 1 million. An estimated 900,000 Russian casualties, including 200,000 to 250,000 fatalities, have been reported by the UK Ministry of Defence. The CSIS, Center for Strategic and International Studies, and other Western analysts propose that Russia may reach or exceed 1 million total military casualties by summer 2025. Russian officials have only admitted to a fraction of that total, publicly confirming 134,000 deaths by name. But note that this figure is likely far below reality, capturing only those properly documented or publicly recognized, not the missing, unreported, or buried without acknowledgement. Russian daily battlefield losses reportedly seldom drop below 100 per day, though precise figures are generally classified or censored. Meanwhile, Russia's military has also seen severe equipment losses, tanks, armored vehicles, artillery, in many cases outpacing Ukraine's losses. Under these conditions, calls inside Russia have emerged pushing for more aggressive action, even invasion of Kazakhstan, to neutralize perceived threats. One pro-military channel recently posted that because Orsk sits so close to Kazakhstan, Russia should clear out Astana to protect its borders. That provocative post is being echoed by fringe militarist voices, though there is no indication that the Kremlin is preparing such a move. There is no solid proof that Kazakhstan has permitted or encouraged drone launches. These claims are merely conjecture. Furthermore, Moscow believes that, given overstretch, logistical limitations, manpower shortages, and popular war fatigue, establishing a new front would be strategically dangerous. Russia's predicament is made worse by other factors. The alleged Tomahawk long-range missiles are among the Western weapons supplies to Ukraine that the Kremlin is now leery of. Putin has cautioned that the use of these weapons might cause an unwarranted escalation. In an asymmetric response to civilian targeting, Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky has stated in public that Kyiv will take countermeasures to cut off Moscow's electricity if Russia intensifies its attacks on Ukraine's energy infrastructure this winter. In a risk-laden moment, Putin also stated at Sochi that Russia would respond in kind if Ukraine attacked Russian nuclear facilities, a provocative warning of potential escalation. Critically, during his remarks, Russian forces openly released footage of detonations on Ukrainian energy infrastructure, including the Chernobyl nuclear site, though that particular reactor is non-operational and is protected by cooling systems for spent fuel. Moscow claims these are defensive or retaliatory acts. Kyiv argues they amount to blackmail, leveraging the specter of nuclear disaster to deter Western support to Ukraine. As Russia grapples with operational strain, manpower exhaustion, and mounting losses, signs of elite disillusionment are appearing. In an environment where public media is heavily managed, occasional deviations from synchronized messaging are notable. Some Russian war correspondents in recent weeks have gone on record, implicitly acknowledging failures, that after 3.5 years of conflict and mass sacrifice, many of Putin's original objectives remain unmet. Introducing cracks in the official narrative is unexpected in such a heavily policed information environment, which suggests pressure from within. Whether that pressure translates into course corrections, concessions, or internal dissent remains uncertain. From Sochi to Orsk to the halls of the Kremlin, the message is clear. War is pressing in on Putin from all sides. The effective extension of drone reach, whether launched from Ukraine or beyond, exposes vulnerabilities. A narrative of success and control is increasingly at odds with battlefield reality and attrition dynamics. Russia may be brushing off calls to invade Kazakhstan today, but the cumulative strain raises the question: how long can Moscow sustain both the illusion of invincibility and the day-to-day costs of this conflict?